For over 10 years, northeast Nigeria has been rocked by the impacts of Boko Haram and the aftermath of the group's attacks. More than 2 million people have been displaced across Borno, Adamawa, and Yobe states. And despite massive international investments in food security, there is growing hunger among displaced people in Nigeria. In a survey conducted in 2021, the International Organization for Migration found that 76% of surveyed IDPs lacked sufficient food. Food that was once distributed to them from designated kitchens provided by relief agencies has now been replaced by a food ration program contingent on physical ration cards. This new distribution scheme sets the stage for fraud and negligence in food distribution, even though millions of dollars came in to support the feeding of IDPs. According to a 2017 report from Save the Children, a family of 7 to 9 members would require an average grant of 83,000 to 99,000 naira per month to meet their basic needs. There are over 2 million people in displacement, so there is a huge amount of funding for feeding in those camps. Yet, much of it doesn't actually go to the IDPs intended. When IDPs began to collect their rations, however small, the communities housing about half of northeast Nigeria's displaced population began to disguise themselves as IDPs in order to collect food rations. They were enabled by actors in the system permitting such fraud, including volunteers of aid organizations and members of the Civilian Joint Task Force. Although meal rations are free for IDPs, host community members started to pay 3,000 naira per person for the privilege of accessing the food. Aid insiders printed fake cards and sold them for a lower price. The 3,000 naira was a bribe to access the 17,000 naira monthly ration. Other non-IDPs acted as proxies in food distribution lines, collecting food to share with camp officials later on. The more people bought their way into the food ration system, the more actual IDPs were at risk of being turned away from meals. Even for IDPs who are successful in accessing ration cards, trouble continues. Earlier this year, the regional director of the WFP, Chris Nikoi, noted that caseloads of supported IDPs were going down due to funding issues. Over 500,000 people who previously received support from WFP are now without critical food assistance, Nikoi said. Although $399,257 was allocated for IDPs between January 2019 and December 2020, the COVID-19 emergency quickly drained the funds intended to meet their basic food and nutrition needs. Left without alternatives, some IDPs sell in-kind commodities offered by aid organizations. Although items like sewing machines and lanterns are gifted to IDPs with good intentions, they are not always appropriate for their immediate needs. These commodities, often labeled with a not for sale sticker, can bring much needed cash to pay for food and other necessities when sold at local markets, and they are usually traded in this manner. This poor management of IDPs in northeast Nigeria has dire consequences, including starvation, which we have seen to be fatal.
So they just cook it and eat it like that? Oh yes.
This is part 4 of our video series explaining insecurity drivers in northern Nigeria. We're breaking down major indicators of violence, conflicts, and covering the communities most impacted by it.
With support from the MacArthur Foundation, Human Angle is working to strengthen investigative and data-driven journalism in order to reduce corruption.